And what do you put on your tomato sandwich?
This is a trap, Randy. I just need you to know that.
No, I'm right there with you. Hey everybody, we are on the road again and we're answering gardeners' questions. And by we're, I mean Toni.
There's so many new gardeners in South Jersey.
So many.
And they have questions.
And I relate to that, so that's why I'm going. First up, we are at Brandy's house. You ready to answer some questions?
I am. Let's go.
Let's go. Thanks to the sponsor of this episode, Camden County. Oh my gosh, wow, hi, this is beautiful.
Thank you, welcome to Squeenie Central.
Brandy, it's beautiful.
What is that?
It's a bathtub.
Yep, it's my bathtub.
Bert, what made you think to bring out a tub?
Well, it was actually a mistake. We refinished our bathroom when we first moved here, and the bathtub was just too small for a human being. So when we took it out, I didn't do anything with it or return it, so I turned it into my sweet potato bed.
Okay, how you get from this doesn't fit in our tub to I'm going to put it in the garden?
Listen, gardeners will make a raised bed out of anything.
Got lots of that around here.
I have such envy for you right now, just to be so creative. Is it heavy? It must be heavy.
It's very heavy. Took, after I filled it, I had to move it because it was over there like 6 feet, and it took me and like 3 teenage boys and another male to get it over here.
Absolutely beautiful. It's really beautiful.
Thank you. I do have a question for you, Toni, in one of the other gardens.
I can't wait to see.
One of the other gardens.
All right, garden goals today. Oh, Brandy, what is happening to your raspberry?
Yes, this is the problem we're having right now out of nowhere.
So you know there's a problem because all of the leaves have holes in them?
Well, and we call this lace damage because all the green is removed and you almost get like this lace left of the veins of the plant. You know, it's supposed to look like, well, I can't even find one that's what it's supposed to look like. This would be a normal leaf. So I see a bunch of things. First of all, you've got spotted lantern flies all over these, but they are not doing this damage. I see the offender right here. This is a little worm, see right there? And they will get about an inch and a half long. They'll get fat, they'll get paler green because they want to try and match the color of the leaves so the birds can't find them. But they will just decimate your garden like they're already doing.
And this has literally been within the last 3-4 days.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a lot of damage in 3 or 4 days.
That's sad. That's disappointing.
So, I mean, as much as I hate to use any kind of pesticide intervention, there at least are some that are approved for organics, and they work really well.
Good to hear.
In the meantime, you can come out here and pick them off and step on them. Marianne, do you want to hold this?
Give them to my chickens.
I'm good.
She doesn't want to hold it.
Thank you.
And then my other concern here actually is where they're located. I'm wondering if when you built this bed, it was spring and this tree hadn't
Yes.
leafed out. Happens all the time. So then these trees leaf out and you're like, wait, I'm in the shade.
It gets sun like twice a day.
The fact that I don't see any fruit on them suggests to me there's not enough.
I actually tried to get rid of them, but as we know,
Yeah.
it didn't work.
They can be a little
You
invasive.
dug everything up?
Like I pulled and pulled and I like went through and I guess they were deeper than I was pulling. And I thought I was gonna plant something that like shade, and then there was all these little, and I was like, oh my.
This is a great piece of advice here that I try and give to everyone. They don't necessarily follow it. Lean in the direction of your plant's happiness. Stop fighting it. And people do that all the time. They're like, I want to grow raspberries right here. And the raspberries are never probably going to be happy here. So I would say give in. Let's get rid of these over time. Really try and get rid of these.
How do you think I should do that?
Well, I would continue to rip them out. They will come out eventually.
Okay.
Give them away. And then you could also put a big heavy layer of like a landscape tarp on top of it in the winter, mulch over top of it, and eventually you'll just starve them of sunlight and they won't grow
All right.
back. Well, this looks beautiful.
Beautiful.
I love it.
What is that?
It's a winter spaghetti squash.
I've never seen leaves that are giant.
Nice
Cantaloupe.
and sturdy.
Will it go, oh, you have, what is that?
That's cantaloupe.
So my children would be very disappointed if I didn't say, I'll marry you, but I can't elope.
So I was wondering my ground. I love to walk barefoot in my garden,
Great.
but this grass is just hard to mow, and up the sides is where you can't really get to. You gotta try to weed whack, I yank it out.
Yeah.
But is there anything you put down in your garden area that you're able to walk on? And
Sure, so obviously there's tons of expensive choices. There's all kinds of pavers and gravel and all that stuff. But I noticed when we came in that you had a giant pile of wood chips out there.
I do.
And that is what I use in my garden. So you can do one of two things. You can drop it right on here, and if you do 3, 4, 5 inches of it,
Okay.
and considering I think you said that was chip drop and it's free, it's
Yeah.
not like we're fighting a budget here. It'll kill the grass naturally, be nice and soft, and it will break down over time. That lowest level of the wood chips is just gonna decompose like compost, and every year you can just throw more
Put some
buckets
more
on
on
top. If, however, you really don't wanna fight any weeds popping through, because you will, there's gonna be weeds popping through.
okay.
What I like to do is save my mulch bags. Always trying to keep plastic out of landfills. Pin it down and put your wood chips right on top of it, and you'll get basically this. What you won't get is that composting that happens underneath. But you don't need that to happen, and you'll get the extra weed block by having something underneath it.
That is a very good idea.
We are heading to Randy's house, not to be confused with Brandy's house, because there are more gardening questions for Toni.
Hi Randy, hi Elena.
Hey, hi.
How are you?
Good. Welcome to our garden.
I cannot get over people's gardens.
Really,
I thought
people are
mine was
committed.
awesome. Yes, so pretty.
Thank
so
you.
what is this?
Over here we have different varieties of tomatoes.
Wait, so are these 2 rows of tomatoes?
Yes.
Yeah. That's how you get a lot of tomatoes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I have 2 tomato plants. So will there come a point where you'll have a ton of tomatoes?
Yes.
What do you do with them?
Well, usually we can't eat them all, so we freeze them. I like to make tomato sandwiches.
Me too.
And what do you put on your tomato sandwich?
Yeah, what do you put on? This is a trap, Randy. I just need you to know that you're about to walk into.
I like to keep it very simple. Sourdough bread and cut a little bit of salt and maybe olive oil. That's pretty much it.
You don't put any mayonnaise on. There's a third option? What?
I don't know. I've never heard of that before.
Yeah.
So we have an ongoing argument
Yes.
that I'm pretty sure I won last year.
No.
I believe in Hellman's.
Miracle Whip.
All right, that's cool.
See?
I happen to be vegan, so
Oh,
Not even vegan mayo.
no, not even vegan mayo.
it's probably much healthier for you.
Maybe.
How do you keep track? Because you don't have little signs, right?
We have this because sometimes we forget what we have.
This sort of becomes more important because you really should be rotating what's in your beds year after year, and we can't remember.
And yes, we did switch beds. Like for example, you see the peas were here last year, and now they're over there. We just keep rotating.
Yeah, that's smart.
Why? Why do we need to switch?
Because every plant takes a very specific nutrient profile out of the soil.
Okay.
And if you plant the same thing year after year after year, it's taking all those same nutrients out. And if you switch it, some plants like peas will even put nitrogen back into the soil.
And we also fertilize the soil. But how important is that, even though you're switching the plants to get different kinds of nutrients into your soil?
I still think it's really important. You
Okay.
know, there's only so much your soil can do. We do need
Okay.
to, ordinarily, to grow this much produce, you need some kind of fertilizer. And a really good nutrient-dense compost will do a lot for you, but I still use an organic fertilizer, and I think most people do.
Are you composting?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you compost too?
Yeah.
No, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you.
Do you like to get your hands dirty?
a little while?
Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It's just how I feel.
Can you show me, I think your parents planted something I'm fascinated with, a Three Sisters garden.
Oh.
Where is that?
It's back there.
Can we take a look?
Sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
What is this again?
So they are attempting a Three Sisters garden here,
Okay.
which is an ancient Native American practice. And the idea was they plant these 3 plants together they call the Three Sisters: squash, corn, and beans. So you plant the corn first, and then the corn as it comes up creates a natural trellis for the beans to grow on because they need support. And then the corn fixes nitrogen back into the soil because corn is a heavy feeder and it needs that from the beans. And then you plant pumpkins at the bottom, and the pumpkins have these great big leaves and they shade the ground, which traps moisture and also blocks weeds. And it works together, and they've been grown this way by native cultures for hundreds and hundreds of years. And we're now just kind of coming back to this practice.
Thank you so much for showing us your garden. It's absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. If you have any questions for Toni, leave them in the comments, and we will see you next week.